Here's a 1980s, I think, Lloyd's clock radio. It's FM stereo. We have 2 alarms. We have alarm 1 here, on or off, alarm 2, wake to radio or buzzer. You have tone control, balance, volume, selector for stereo FM, FM or AM, your main power switch. You have a nice vacuum fluorescent display here with an auto dimmer, which probably would not show up on YouTube. Let me turn this light off and see if we see any difference. No, I don't see any difference, at least looking at the camera. We have incandescent lighting here for the radio dial, FM stereo indicator, and our main power switch. Let's see, up at the top we have our alarm off. We have a calendar, this thing you can set calendar, so May 1st. I had it set on April 30th and it did switch over to May 1st, so it understands 30-day months. I would assume it's going to understand February 28th to March 1st. How it handles that every 4th year leap year to February 29th, I don't know. You set your calendar, press calendar, hours the month, minutes the day. You can set your alarm 1 and alarm 2. You have a sleep button, which will count down from an hour. You have a snooze button for your alarm, which will give you an extra 9 minutes of sleep. You have a headphone jack here, 1/4 inch. You have what I think is a 2.5 inch speaker on the left side and a 2.5 inch speaker on the right side. And around back there really isn't anything except simulated wood grain, a little heat ductwork, and provisions for an external FM antenna. That's nice to have. And our incandescent lighting here has a nice feature in that it sends a little streak of light all across the lower and the upper part of the dial and the clock. Alright, underneath, this is the model J286 in the 263A series, made in Hong Kong. Backup battery, code 218. I suppose that could be a 1982 18th week date code, maybe. FM stereo. Maybe you could swing by my room around 10. Baby, bring the lemon and the bottle of gin. One of them is how bad I need you. More hit music. That's stereo.
Summer is short. Make sure you squeeze out every last drop of fun.
You tell the difference between stereo and
Enjoy
mono.
one-day admission to both Kings Island.
Me is number 1. She stepped up.
It doesn't make sense to you and me.
Why you do that? Don't got that much in the bank. We go out, she order the steak. Why you do that? She complaining, but you know it working for her. She claiming she done like me.
To make sure that those jobs are protected.
And African Americans and housing, and not to do with, like, you know, Goldman Sachs and so. And then finally, I think that people want easier answers that exist. So
AM, we're on.
I mean, I guess the 401k.
legislation. Meaning the purpose of legislation is
At IWU, and this has been 300 starts is a nice accomplishment. It's not a huge deal.
Is it both eyes or just one eye?
Alright, the alarms are kind of interesting. If we turn alarm 1 on and alarm 2, and you can see indicate there in the display. And you can have it radio or buzzer, but both alarms are going to go off to the same thing, radio or buzzer. And I have noticed, and I'm not sure if this is a fault of the machine or a feature, but if you want to wake to just the buzzer, you need to have your volume all the way down. Because when your volume's up, it wakes to the radio. And if you have it set to buzzer, you'll hear the buzzer, but it'll be interspersed with the radio. So we'll turn the power off here, and we'll have it set to buzzer. And the volume is all the way down. This will be alarm 1 that goes off. Now if you had it set to radio, you wouldn't hear anything because the volume's not up. So you have to have the volume up for radio, and the volume down for buzzer. Now let's do another alarm set to radio for alarm 2.
$7.99. Great clips. It's going to be great.
That turns the alarm off. Sleep timer, you need to have your radio off before you start. Count it down from 59. And in conjunction with minutes, you can take it all the way down to as far as you want. So that will shut off here in a second. And we're out. Let's look at the headphone jack for a minute. I don't like using full 1/4-inch headphones on these, so I put an adapter in for mini plug. And the volume's there. It works well. Both sides of the headphones.
We want to be winners. We want to get back.
We'll turn the light off. We can see that display a little better, I think, maybe. It's a nice little unit, nothing special about it. Lloyd's wasn't known, of course, for their premier equipment, but this one has a pretty full feature set. It doesn't have a fast forward or reverse when you're setting your clocks and alarms. I particularly would have liked a reverse. But other than that, I mean, you've got your antenna jacks on the back, 2 alarms, headphone jack, stereo, or mono for FM, depending on which you want. Nice vacuum fluorescent display. From sometime in the 1980s, maybe 1982, if that sticker on the bottom means anything. This has been the Lloyd's J286 clock radio. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't, please subscribe.